Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Paradigm Woods and Irons from Callaway.
Hi, I'm Amy Rogers, and this is your Golf Central update. Sam Burns is chasing history this week, looking to win the Valspar Championship for a third consecutive year. He's one of many big names teeing it up at Innisbrook this week. Sam Burns, of course, the back-to-back defending champion, looking to make it 3 in a row. Justin Thomas, who finished third at this event last year, is back in the field. He is the highest-ranked player in the field this week at world number 10. And Jordan Spieth is making a return to Innisbrook for the first time in years, missing the last 2 editions with COVID and his brother's wedding. And Spieth spoke with our Kira K. Dixon on Wednesday.
Well, 2 years ago I had COVID, or I would have played. Last year my brother got married, so it's really just been bad timing. But I love this golf course, and it's a great fan turnout. And then right now it's nice having been in Florida and kind of just stay over here, come over and play it. Play next week in Austin as tune-ups to get ready for the Masters.
Coming off of last week, interesting week at the Players. What are your overall takeaways as we kind of wrap up the week that was?
Yeah, I mean, it was our championship. You know, it was kind of a bit of a shame we got all that rain and the course changed so much, but still became a great championship where Scotty, who was probably playing better than anybody in the world, went and won the tournament. So, you know, I felt like I played well, felt like I continued kind of where I've been at, and I've got a little bit of work to do, but certainly pleased with the last 2 events on the swing, and try and get back in contention here. You just can't put a price on how often you can be in contention, and just kind of taking something out of possibly, hopefully winning, but also if you don't, you kind of know what you need to improve on.
You mentioned that work. What is that work this week that you'd like to do?
I need to just tighten up the driver a little. I drove it well my last few events, but last week it got a little bit off, and then continuing to make putts. Started to gain strokes the last two weeks, and it's always nice to see against the field, but trying to see more and more putts go in and just get more comfortable so that you know, that hole starts to look a bit bigger. It's nice as you head into the majors if that's the case.
Jordan Spieth gets his week going on Thursday at 8:18 a.m. Eastern. He will play alongside Gary Woodland and 2-time winner of the Valspar Championship, Sam Burns. And Burns is looking to make history this week by winning the Valspar Championship for a 3rd consecutive year, and few have pulled off the feat, with just 3 other players doing so during the past 40 years. Steve Stricker was the last to pull off the three-peat with his victories at the John Deere Classic between 2009 and 2011. And Burns met with the media on Wednesday at Innisbrook.
All right, we'd like to welcome Sam Burns to the interview room here at the Valspar Championship, a place that you're very familiar with, Sam, having won the last 2 Valspar Championships. So I guess the first question is, what's it like coming in here, you know, having won the last couple and the chance to three-peat, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, lots of really, great memories from the last couple years, but it feels good to be back. It doesn't seem like it was a year ago. It goes by quick, but I think, the golf course is in great condition. As fast as I've seen the greens on a Wednesday or even yesterday, Tuesday, I've ever seen them. So golf course is in great shape. I think with the weather we're supposed to get, it could be a really good test this week, so I'm excited.
Speaking of the weather, you came in here, I just shook your hand, it was pretty cold. What was that like out there this morning?
Freezing this morning, and then it started raining, so that didn't help. But it was nice to get out early and be done.
How would you assess your season so far this week? Played well in Phoenix, pretty solid last week. How would you assess it?
I would say it hasn't been great so far. I think just a little bit of inconsistency, and but I think the important thing to remember is, as a player, it's never as far off as sometimes you feel that it is. And so I think, just continuing to do the hard work and continuing to kind of stick to my process of trying to get better. And I know that at some point it will click and everything will come together. So I think, for me, is trying to not just look too far ahead and just try to get a little bit better each day.
Okay, we'll take some questions for Sam. If you have a question, we'll get the mic to Beth Ann.
Just curious how winning this tournament changed your life.
I think I would say, a couple years ago, obviously being out here and not having won yet was frustrating, because I feel like I'd put myself in position to to have a couple chances and not being able to quite close the door, and then coming here in 2021, I wouldn't necessarily say it changed my life. I would say it definitely changed my career as a professional golfer. It gave me a lot more opportunities into certain events that I was not in that year. I wasn't in all the majors, so getting in all the majors, and then, I think it gave me a lot of confidence moving forward to know that when I was in that situation in the future, I could kind of lean on this week, and was able to grow a lot because of it.
What is it about this course that brings out the best in you?
Yeah, I've had people ask me that question. I wish I could pinpoint what it was, but I don't know. I think the thing I like about this golf course is it's such a good mixture of holes. It's not like you just get up there and grab your driver every hole and just hit it as far as you can. There's a lot of different shots you can hit off tees. There's holes where you could hit, 4 or 5 different clubs off tees and kind of play it whatever way you want. So I think there's a lot of flexibility here. There's certain holes where you have to hit a lot of really quality shots, and I think it's just a very demanding golf course. And when you hit the correct shots, you get rewarded.
And then just lastly, if I could, there was some significant news in the golf world yesterday with the USGA and R&A's proposal to roll back the ball. Just your reaction to it and how you think the PGA Tour should respond.
Personally, I think it's pretty silly. I would say, if you look at the last few years of golf, I think the game has grown tremendously. And at the end of the day, no matter what it is, we're an entertainment sport. And I think, I don't think people necessarily want to come out here and watch guys hit it shorter. It's like they enjoy watching guys go out there and hit it 350 yards. I don't see what the problem is with that. I think that's a skill, and I don't really agree with trying to take that away.
Anything else for Sam? Sam, you're really good friends with Scotty Scheffler, and he's been on a bit of a tear, as we all know, lately. What sort of inspiration do you draw from that, and what can you learn from that to apply to your own game?
Yeah, it's really cool to see him playing well. I think, his kind of last year and a half has been some of the best golf, I've ever seen. I think he's got a ton of confidence right now. It's kind of clicking on all cylinders. And so, I think, watching the way that he plays and the kind of the way that they dissect golf courses, it's definitely something that, we can learn from. Just ask some questions. And, we play a ton of practice rounds together, stay a lot on the road. So kind of picking his brain about certain things has been definitely helpful.
Okay. Anything else for Sam? Rick?
Sam, Valspar did a mural in Ruston. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was really cool. I think it was, such an honor for us to be able to do it and where we live, and being able to kind of bring that to our community. It was really neat, and I think the community has really enjoyed it. It's something that we get to see a bunch whenever we're home and get to drive by there and check it out. So it was a great experience. Brought a lot of people together, and I think it's great for the community.